we're using the small muscles when you play tempo. Play slow. Okay, good. You understand? Now if you practice slow like this, it's actually going to translate very well to when you play fast. If you practice slow and you use the whole bow, I mean, it's a useful thing, right? But it doesn't translate super well. Do you understand what I mean here? Now, so what I would do, to clean it up a little bit, because I think it needs some spots need a little bit of a cleanup, is you go through it under tempo, you record yourself. We talk about recording yourself this week, right? And then, but you practice it under tempo, but with the right amount of bow. You understand? Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about is the perception of the tempo, right? Now, the first time you play very, very, very fast. Objectively, it's very fast. But it's actually hard to hear what you are doing, right? Because you play so fast, I just hear this, right? I mean, exaggerate, you play better than this. So, I think actually it's going to sound faster if it's super clear. You know, clarity is if it's really articulated, it's going to be, perception is going to be much faster, right? The other thing is, when you are stressed in a concert, right? It's like we become hyper aware, right? And so our perception of time as a performer is slow. So we always play faster than we want to at a concert, right? Can you relate to this thing? Yeah. Right? But because why? Because we're so aware, right? That it's like we are able to see things almost in slow motion a little bit. And the problem with that is that then we go, oh well, it feels slow, I have to be faster. But the body's like, no, we didn't practice this. So one trick I think about is actually when you go in front of people, is literally you play slower than what you think it should be. And it's going to be very fast, I promise. You know what I mean? Okay, so this is what I want to try. Well, here's what we're going to do. You're going to go over there, you're going to walk in like it's a performance, yes? So we're going to all clap for you, and then you're going to start it, but start slower than you want, yeah? Okay, so, okay, go for it. We're all clapping. Okay, let's do that one more time. Go a hair faster, but not too fast. Yes? Let's do the whole thing again. You'll come here. We're all going to clap for you again. And these people don't fall asleep. Okay, let's do it. Great. Go. Oh, you have to do it. Yeah. Yes, you see what I mean? Okay, now this sample for me was probably closer to what you want, no? How did it feel? Did it feel slow or fast? It feels slow. Was it slow? It was not slow.
Now I understand what's happening.
Yeah, it's not slow at all. That's the exact right tempo you should be playing, I think. It felt slow, huh? Now if you play what you feel fast, it's going to be so fast you cannot hear any notes. Because also the piece is written like this. There's a lot of open string that just makes it a little bit, yeah? Now, how do we make it? How do we practice to coordinate the two hands really, really, really well? Because now there's sometimes sometimes the finger is a little bit delayed, sometimes the bow is a little bit delayed. How do we do that? How do you do that? Okay? How do you do? Can you show me how you do rhythms? Just practice for me. 10 seconds. Rhythms of whichever pattern you want. Okay, so tell me what you're doing. What do you do?
I do it by beat.
By beat, okay? So show me how you do that.
With the metronome at home.
However you practice at home, I want to see this. If it's metronome, I want to see it. You do. I don't care. I just want to see how you do it at home. I don't, I'm not judging you at all. Okay, I understand. Now, can you stop it for a second? Great. Here's what now by beat is good, because each beginning of the beat is going to be good. The problem often happens, I think, for you, actually on the notes which are not on the beat. So here's what I want you to try. You're going to play slow, right? But every up bow, you put an accent. Now you forget an up bow. Okay, let's skip the first bar because this is slow. Let's go from second bar, then it's just a bunch of things. Every up bow you put an accent. You see it's hard to do right now. Okay, let's do it a little bit slower then. It's like, right? Okay, here's what we're going to try now. Every down bow you put an accent. That's going to be a little bit easier. Yeah? Okay. Okay, but now tell me, when you play tempo, you use these muscles? No. You don't go like this. You do like this, right? So play with an accent, but the right amount of muscles. You see. So what does that mean? It means that the version of the piece that's on the page is the easiest version of what you have to practice. You have to practice a version of this that is extra challenging for the bow, that extra difficult for you, that when you play this, it feels easy, right? But the reason I'm making you to play accents, what accents do is that it forces you to highlight certain notes that we tend to forget, right? Because sometimes when we have to do a string crossing or something, the note right before, we kind of just like throw to the garbage, right? But if you put an accent on it, you cannot do that. So it kind of forces you, Now, I want you to put an accent every group of four, D, like this, yeah? Okay, that's not too hard, huh? Okay, now every group of four notes, you put the accent on the third note. This one is not that bad, I'm telling you. Yeah. Da dee da dee da da dee da dee da dee, okay? Okay, great. Now, even when you practice this, you have to listen very close to intonation just so it's a little bit sketchy. Now, every second note of the group you put accent. Da dee da dee da dee dee da dee da dee da da dee dee. That's going to be a little bit tricky. how that one is a little bit trickier for your brain. But by doing this, for me it's like ironing your shirt. You know, you have to make sure every wrinkle is out. If you just practice on every beat, which is easy, right? Da ti da ti da, which is a little bit how you practice with the metronome at home. A little bit. You only really put the spotlight on the big first note of each string. Now, let's play the beginning now. We've practiced it a little bit. Let's see how it feels. Play.
So?
Yeah, play the beginning at the normal tempo. Yeah? Not too fast again. Just tempo that feels a little bit under what you feel, you know? But not too slow. You see what I mean? So that's also, you know how to practice in rhythm. You can also practice in rhythm. Right? You practice like this? No.
Please no.
You have to do it. This is only 16th notes for the entire piece. Is every piece at only 16th notes? It's the same thing. If you play regular, it's the same problem. We have take it down, or then people who play this. You have to do that because how else are you gonna make sure everything is really ironed out? Yeah?
Well,
It's
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. Now, let's go a little bit further into this thing. Well, you understand what I want you to do with this. Also, you have to make sure, even when you practice like this, that it's very intuitive. It's a little bit sketchy sometimes. And you know, it's intimate, so sometimes it's harder to hear, but if it's perfectly intuitive, it rings so much more. Everyone's gonna love you. If you're Viola and you play tune, you're gonna get all the money in the world. It's true, it's not a joke. Like if you play good intonation, perfect intonation, and good rhythm, and good rhythm even not that important as great sound. You play great sound, perfect intonation, and the rhythm is like pretty good. It doesn't have to be perfect. You get all the money in the world. If you play bad intonation, no money. You're gonna be poor. You don't want to be poor, yeah? So you have to make sure, you know the Peter Zuckerman, you know this guy? You know what he called the intonation in the bar? The bank account. If you play great sound, his bank account's going to be full. If you play good intonation, your bank account's going to be full. Play out of tune. You know how it is. You know, if you sit on the orchestra committee behind the fan, and you listen to this, and then they play 2 or 3 notes out of tune in the first phrase, and next. There's 300 other people that want the job, you know? So, I'm telling you because it has to be, we talked about this already this week, it has to become your obsession. You know what I mean? It's like, not a single note you can let slide. Because the more you let it slide, the less your ear pays attention to it. And then you get to the real world, and it's, you will not get a job. You will not make money. And you want to make money, right? Yeah, so you have to play. Intonation for you has to become it has to become your biggest strength. You know, it's like you take your weakness, because everyone has a weakness, right? My weakness is playing slow movement. I tell you, it's the weakness. I work on it really hard. Now it's a little bit better. I could also not play second position for the longest time. Now I can kind of do it. But for the longest time, I just avoided like the play. But you have to take this, and it becomes your biggest strength. Yes? And it has to come from here. I mean, I can tell you a million times, Fernando can tell you, you know, intonation is not good, right? But if you don't yourself take it in your own hands and go, I'm gonna fix it, you know? It's never, it's not gonna happen. It has to become, we were talking this week, how much of the percentage of your practice you should spend on intonation, right? And I always ask people, when people tell me they have a problem with intonation, right? I always ask them, okay, so how much percentage-wise, how much time are you spending on intonation every day? Oh, we know, they go, a lot of time, like 50%. And I go, that's not a lot of time. If you want to fix it, it has to be like 95% of the time. And I remember when I was a teenager, I could not play consistently in tune. Like when I was 14, 15. And it bothered me so much, right? And at some point I remember, I sit down and I decide, okay, today is over. I play in tune from today, right? Then for 2 years or 3 years, I did only intonation. I did nothing else. I mean, of course, then, sometimes you have to practice some bow things. But it took me 2 years or 3 years of practicing really intonation like 99% of the time. Now, most of the time, I kind of play in tune. I still practice intonation most of the time. It's like 90% of my practice, I'm making sure things are really in tune and beautiful sound or whatever. But if it's not, it's the most important, it's your biggest skill as a violist. If you can play in tune and a good sound, you get every job in the world. Like that's literally all that there is to it. You play the excerpt, you play them with the right rhythm, the great sound. The excerpts are not technically the most difficult thing ever. If you play the violin, the excerpts are crazy compared to the viola. I mean, I always joke about, Mendelssohn's Scherzo excerpt, and the violinists have to go here and they have to play a whole page, and we're just sitting there. But if you play this and out of tune, instantly out the door. And it's not because I don't like the person. It's just if you're going to sit in the orchestra your whole life next to someone who plays a little bit out of tune, you want to kill them. Sorry, right? So it's the same thing if someone who rushes, right? If your step partner for the next 10 years is going to rush a little bit, you're dead, right? So I'm saying that to you because you have the technical skills to play the thing, but I really want you, it has to become your obsession. The intonation is perfect. Like, you record we talked about how to do this. You record yourself. Every note has to be perfect, and you have to drill it until, it has to become obsession. That's the only way to fix it. Yeah? Okay, sorry, I needed to talk to you about this, because we chatted about this week, and I just wanted to make sure you understand how important this is. It's not that I like it. People always my students, they make fun of me because they think my favorite subject is intonation. It's not like I particularly like talking about it, but if it's bad, it's nothing happens in the world. No money. You're going to be poor. You have to play wedding gigs your whole life. You don't want that. You want to get a good job and play in the orchestra. That's what it is. If you play wedding gigs, who cares? They're too busy with the wedding. They're not listening to your intonation. Everything else, intonation has to be perfect. Like, it has to become, and I'm insisting on this because it's so important. Okay? And if you don't know how to fix it, then you have to, you ask Fernando, you figure out, but it's in the heart. You have to take your ego, go, from today, never again I play out of tune. When you practice, sometimes you play something out of tune, then you go fix it. But never again I'm I'll let it slip. No. Yeah? Okay.
Good.